Hey gamers, what's up and welcome to Gamer Life. Today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at Jamaica. Jamaica is a racing game for 2 to 6 players. In Jamaica, players are pirates racing around the island of Jamaica, collecting gold and collecting treasure. And at the end of the race, the player with the most points is the winner. It plays 2 to 6 players and takes about an hour to play. So let's take a look and I'll tell you what I think. Here's Jamaica. Now I know we don't do this, but in Jamaica's case, it's worth noting that the box itself kind of looks like a treasure box. And when you open it up, it's pretty cool because the rulebook is to make it look like it is a treasure chest, and the rulebook itself unfolds kind of like a treasure map. With all, let's see here, everything going around all different orders and stuff. I don't know if you can see that too good here. And then the insert itself is also one of the best inserts I've ever seen in a game. Get all these, they come with different there's multiple rulebooks for multiple languages. Here's the game board. The game board opens up. It's a very good insert. All the 6 ships for all the players, the cargo hold for all the players, the first player marker, treasure coins for the treasure. For treasure, players will have their own set of cards with colored cards for each for their movement. Treasure cards itself, good, really nice wooden dice. I don't know if you see that too good or not. And then a bunch of chits for gold, food, and cannons. So that's the insert for this game. It's a very nice insert. It does not stay too well inside if you start moving stuff around, but it's a very good insert, and it's worthwhile to show that this is how you do an insert for a game. So let's take a look at the main game board itself. Also, the back of the game board also has the same coins as the rulebook. See that too good or not? So here's the main game board. On this board, you're going to place the 2 dice here, put the combat dice here. Like I said before, players are going to take their corresponding deck representing the color that they're playing with. All players start at Port Royale. Right here. I'm just going to put 3 for now. The combat dice goes here. First player goes to the randomly determined first player. And each player is going to be given a cargo hold. And each player will also be given 3 gold, as well as, let's see if you see it there, 3 gold, as well as 3 food to be placed inside the cargo hold. Just like so. So, how Jamaica is played is the first player is going to roll the dice and then determine which dice is going to be for the day and which dice is for the day side and which is going to be the night side. Now, why that is important is because each player is going to have 3 cards. They're going to draw 3 cards from their deck of cards. Now, each card here, if you can see it too good, has 2 sides. The left side represents the day action, and the right side represents the night action. Also, if you notice, these cards have great artwork on them. They do line up to form a panoramic. So players are going to then determine which card they want to play. They'll all do that at the same time, and then at the same time they'll all, in turn order, they'll flip it up and then do their action. So for example, in this action, green is always forward. So this blue player is going to move forward 6 spaces, and then once they stop, they will collect 1 cannon. Now, when it comes to collecting goods, you must always put your goods inside an empty cargo hold. You can never add goods to another cargo hold, even if it's the same cargo. So I can't put this 3 gold on top of another cargo hold full of gold. It has to go inside its own separate hold. Also, if the holds are ever filled up with items, and you was to get another set, say you was to get another 2 more gold, you must either discard this gold here, or discard stuff from your cargo hold. So, and you cannot discard what you're taking in. So I could not discard these two cargo holds full of gold. I have to discard the other three, either one of the two food items or the cannon, to place the current treasure, to place the current items that you're currently getting. So after players have moved, they have to then pay what the cost of a certain square. Let me see if I can zoom in better on the board so you can see it that better. Okay, I don't know if you can see that too good or not. Okay, right there. So in this spot here, each one of these circles, these squares here represent food stuff. So whenever a player lands on one of these spaces, they must pay 3 food here, or for example 4 food there. If they land in a spot that has these gold coins here, they have to pay that many in coins. Now if they land in a spot and they do not have the resources to pay for that spot, they will have to pay what they can and then keep on going back further until they land into a spot that they can then pay for. Now also right there, if you see these skulls, they will have treasure chests. Once a player lands on that spot, they return the token back to the game box and they draw one of the treasure cards that will be stacked on the spot right here. And the treasure cards have different things, such as there are some that have +5, +5, +3, +7. These are all worth victory points at the end of the game. Let me zoom back here for you. Then you have all the stuff you have curse cards, as well as stuff for combat. Now let me explain combat. Whenever a player stops in the same spot as another player, combat must initiate. How that happens is the first player is the attacker. That player will then discard as many cannon tokens as they want, and then roll the dice. So for this example, if they had discarded two cannon tokens and roll a 10, they have a strength of 12. The defender then has to roll. But if the defender gets lucky and rolls the starburst, they win automatically. If both players tie, then nothing happens. Whoever is the victor can now take spoils from their opponent. They can take one of their cargo holds, any item inside the cargo hold. If they have any treasure cards, they can take a treasure card, or they can also give a treasure card to another player, because sometimes a player will draw a treasure card and it's cursed, like I showed you earlier, so they can then give that cursed treasure to that player. Now, like I said, Jamaica is a race, but it's also the victor is the person who gets the most victory points at the end of the race. Whenever a player goes back all the way around and crosses back to Port Royale, the game is over. You count you count their points. Each coin they have in the cargo hold is worth points. Any treasure card they got that has victory points is also worth points. Also, let me zoom in on the board here. Each spot on the board here has a number corresponding to how many points it's worth. So for example, the player who stopped at Port Royale will earn 15 points, 10, 9, 8, and so forth. Also, if you look back here, there's a cutoff point. Zoom right there. Right there is a cutoff point. So at that point there, any player past this line will get negative 5 points, while a person beyond the line will earn some sort of positive points. And the game ends immediately once a player stops at Port Royale. Once a player gets to Port Royale, if it's the daytime, you do not get to do the night action. If it's nighttime, then you still finish up the night action. The game ends immediately. The player, you count up the coins, the spot they got, the current spot that they are at the game board, and any treasure cards they have, and the player with the most points is the winner. So that was Jamaica. Now, I enjoy Jamaica. Jamaica is a very good light dice rolling racing game. It has a good family weight to it. It does take place in it does do that solid 1 hour gameplay, which is nice. And the gameplay itself is relatively simple. It's just a simple roll and move, and just you have to pay your resources for every spot that you land on. Now, yes, it does have a few problems though. Because of the roll and move mechanic, You can get kind of messed up with the dice roll. Also, you only draw 3 cards, and sometimes those cards only have gather resources, which can be annoying because a lot of times you'll just be sitting there just gathering resources because you haven't drawn any movement cards. But once you get those movement cards, you will be hauling ass down through the game, because at the same time all the other players have the same deck of cards, so they're also struggling with the same thing. They haven't got the big movement cards yet. They're just getting the cards that get them money or gold or cannons. But it does balance itself out, especially when it comes to the dice roll itself, because whoever's the first player will set the day action and the night action. So I've never seen the game have too much of a runaway leader. There can be a little bit runaway leader if one player gets the right cards and at the right time. So it does have some luck mechanic to it, but you also have to manage the resources that you're getting, because you want to get a lot of gold, because every gold piece is a point. You also want to try to race to get to those treasures, and because there are a lot of good treasure inside, and some of the treasures are really good, like +1 hand size or +1 movement, or the ability to have an extra cargo hold, so you can hold more cargo, so you can hold more coins, which gets you more victory points. And I like the fighting aspect, in which when someone lands in a space, they start fighting. If you ever land in a spot with 2 players, the person who landed there gets to choose which player to fight. So I like that. My biggest complaint with the game, besides drawing 3 cards and only having a hand of 3 cards to use to plan out your turn, is this rulebook. This rulebook is really bad. Yes, they went with a thematic view, which is this treasure chest. Sorry, this treasure map thing where you're following. It goes from here to here, and then it sometimes branches off here or branches off here. This is annoying. This is really, in my opinion, the worst part of the game, of this whole thing. Make a rulebook, make a regular rulebook. This, I know you went theme instead of function. Bad. Also, even though the artwork is excellent, I do think you're paying for it in the cost, because this game does retail for $60, and I don't know if it's worth that $60 price tag. If you get it cheaper, by all means, get it. It's a good game. It's a light filler. It's almost a filler game in a sense, but it does play up to 6 players. So when we have 6 players going across the board fighting each other, it's really fun to watch other people steal their stuff, and sometimes give them their the cursed treasure that they just picked up. So it's really cool in that sense, and I really like it. I've had this game in my collection for about 4 years now. So it's going to stay in my collection for quite some time. I really do enjoy this game. So that's my review of Jamaica. Thanks for watching, and remember, I believe there is a game for everyone. Thank you.